Hello, my name is Rafael Maldonado, and I want to be a teacher. Um, I believe my life's direction is one deeply rooted in the education of others. I recall volunteering as a child to make presentations to my classmates about a subject or a book I found interesting. Completely voluntary, wasn't required of me from my teachers. Teaching's in my blood. I have a grandmother who earned her doctorates in education, and taught for many years in Puerto Rico, and finished her career as a high school principal. And my mother, who is one of my main inspirations for pursuing teaching and Teach for America, she earned her bachelor's and her master's after the age of 30. She taught in several Austin area schools, bilingual education, and she ended up as a principal as well. I wouldn't be here where I am today or the person who I am without the hard work my mother put in her time in the classroom. She actually got her start in low income schools, and she would teach immigrant children in those schools, and those were very underfunded, very underserved schools. And she was very successful. She enjoyed her time in these schools immensely because it was a difficult assignment and because the children needed her so much. Um, and she always conveyed that to me, how much the children needed her. And I started thinking a few months ago about what I'm going to do after I finish my bachelor's. Besides dreams of teaching academia and anthropology, and then I thought back at my mother's work and how these kids needed her and gave her the opportunity to become this great teacher that she is, and to become a great role model to myself and my brothers. Um, and I guess applying to Teach for America and joining Teach for America and teaching at low income schools is kind of my way of saying thank you and closing that circle. And as well, I'm a product of low income schools myself. I spent my middle school years and into high school at institutions where most of the students saw little educational equity. It wasn't until I was like a sophomore in high school. So it's like from 6th to 10th grade in Texas before I had a male teacher who wasn't a coach. And he was Caucasian. So at the same time, I can't recall a single male teacher of color that wasn't a coach first. Um, and while I myself was an athlete and I enjoyed sports thoroughly, I think it's important to have those role models who aren't embedded in the systems that perpetuate stereotypes. In this case, the stereotype of the minority sportsman. Um, I believe I can fill a role very well as someone who's always saw sport as secondary to academics, and present myself to my students as the image of a minority academic. I look forward to finding a place in New York City schools so that I and my fellow Teach for America core members can continue providing the means to attain educational equity and provide the role models that the city's future needs.